Half a year after the last release of community shaders, a new major update has arrived at Nexus with over 30,000 lines of code, following 400 pull requests and over 130 test versions. Let us go down into the details to see what the new features mean, especially to VR players. A new tone mapping which works internally with HDR color range and maintains vanilla palettes. It will give you the best looks close to the original feeling ever achieved with community shaders, and it will not change the game into some stylized, unrealistic fairy tale. If you prefer other colors, there are many reshade options and mods like Imaginator which can do this. A completely new user interface with custom theme support, and a new font styled after the vanilla menus. It can show GPU usage, which is very helpful, to see if those 8K leak textures have an impact on your performance. But not only is the UI new, it also gives access to some exciting new features, best of which is native support for DLAA and native FSR 3.1 AA. This enables a glitch-free, highly optimized anti-aliasing to achieve the best visual clarity. Also, it allows to eliminate some limitations, which we will see a bit later. Together with this, we also get the option of using contrast adaptive sharpening, which is the best type of sharpening from my experience. A newly optimized parallax shader with high-quality shadows. This is something that can only be achieved with community shaders in VR, as vanilla only has a very basic rendering of parallax maps without shadowing or specular highlights. New height-based terrain blending, which enables very seamless transitions between different terrain textures. New state-of-the-art screen space shadows, which run 2 to 3 times faster whilst being extremely high quality. These are used to create shadows for smaller, detailed, or nearby objects. A completely new feature called volumetric lighting. This is a rendering technique to simulate the way light interacts with particles in the atmosphere. This effect enhances realism by making light visible as it travels through mediums like fog, smoke, dust, or even water. It greatly enhances the atmosphere in foggy forests or dusty ruins, for example. One of the things that has received special attention is water. Until now, the best thing we have been able to achieve was water not glowing in the dark, thanks to mods like Particle Patch. But it has never been possible to make water react to light properly. With the new version of community shaders, there is now directional shadow support for water. It allows water to be properly lit and affected by shadows. This gives water much more depth and makes it look much more natural. Another new water feature is parallax water. This has been available for non-VR users, but the effect is much more pronounced in virtual reality. It makes water look less flat by applying a height or displacement map. This is very nice for wave effects. Besides this, water blending has been enabled to allow for smooth transitions between waters and shores. Earlier in this video, we saw the built-in anti-aliasing of community shaders. It supports underwater blur, which is a phenomenon where objects viewed underwater appear less sharp or clear compared to viewing them in air. With this, underwater feels very immersive and different from being on land. Without it, view conditions are absolutely clear and feel everything but being underwater. This helps to resolve the biggest immersion breaker for dive trips. One of the most amazing features is screen space reflections. It creates realistic-looking reflections on water and other surfaces with good performance. Thanks to this new feature, you can see objects like the lighthouse or bridges, terrain like mountains, trees, and much more reflected in the water. My personal favorite of all those new features is physically based rendering. It approximates how real materials react to light and is used in most modern games, and as such can bring Skyrim's material up to modern standards. In the past, it has been impossible to get objects look correct in all lighting conditions. Some stood out too dark, some too bright, depending on weather and daytime. Physically based rendering allows for much more consistent lighting. Metals tend to produce sharp and bright specular highlights due to their high reflectivity. Physically based rendering fully supports such surfaces and makes sure your weapons and armor have never looked better. Roughness can be set low to make objects look very glossy, or very high for the surface to include microscopic irregularities that scatter reflected light in multiple directions. This makes for a rough, matte-like appearance of clothes. With physically based rendering, texture artists can create high-quality assets more easily because modern tools and materials are generally published for this. Please note that physically based rendering does nothing by itself without having physically based rendering texture mods installed. I have linked a few such mods in the description, and you can expect further to release on Nexus. The only question remaining is, can you take this level of immersion for your Skyrim VR experience? Many additional features will be released soon following a rolling release schedule. Kudos to the whole team that cracked so many nuts to make this all happen. Leave a like if you find the video helpful and check out the mods in the description. Thank you for watching.